it's baby, it's delicate, so it's, you know, its moisture content is much higher. In those sort of time to, you know, face the elements and things like that. And then into here as well, you know, a little bit of zest. Remember, just one stroke of the actual zester at the end of the day, please, because you only want to take off the actual zest. You don't want to take off the rind or the pith that we note, which is actually very bitter.
You are speaking to my inner chef right now, because I'm usually the person who goes like, waste not, want not. So I want to get the most out of it, and I'll be like, just once.
And then, you know, you do a nice squeeze of lemon juice as well.
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to add that a little bit later on. So you can see that sort of going down. You can pop a little bit of water if you're in a hurry. Pop a little dash of water, and that will start, you know, reducing very quickly.
Yes.
And then, lastly, a bit of garlic. Now, garlic I always add in later.
Yeah?
That's just slithers of garlic, just, you know, finely sliced.
Yes.
You know, because I want the garlic flavour, you know, to permeate through. When you put it into the onions in the beginning, it actually starts to burn, because usually it's much smaller.
Yes.
So bits burn and become bitter. So always add that in a little bit of a later stage like that.
The smell of garlic in a kitchen is always a signature of a good chef for me. It's like, now we're cooking.
Right, so that's going into there little bit by little bit, adding a little bit more. Oh, one's jumping out there.
So this is a Greek-style stuffing that we're making.
Exactly.
SMS the keyword roast to 33728, and then we'll send you the ingredients list as well as a link to the recipe for both the stuffings that we're about to make. What else happens?
So we're going to let that cook off, and then we're going to add the feta in once it's just cooled very slightly, and that's your stuffing. It's simple, quick, and easy.
All right, good stuff.
Right, and then on to one a little bit more extravagant. So this is from my cookbook, Summer Food, and I think the shot of this was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So get a copy of the book and you know, have a look-see.
Beautiful.
But in terms of ingredients, and you can just pop them in as we go there. So
what do we have there?
A little bit of ciabatta cubes there.
Yeah.
That's going to sort of add as a bit of a crumb to sort of absorb any excess moisture. Garlic cloves.
Yes.
Mint, because mint and lamb are such happy campers together.
Mint and garlic.
Walnuts. Yes. Bringing in texture now. A little bit of fat leaf parsley.
Okay.
And then this. Any idea what that is?
That is, hold on, so it's a cedar sauce. Oh, wow.
So that is za'atar spice. So it's a Middle Eastern. Za'atar. So basically it's thyme, sesame seeds, and sumac, which has got a wonderful lemony, citrusy kind of flavour.
Okay.
And if you just pop the lid on that, and we literally are just going to blitz that as you go. So just blitz that into a fairly coarse crumb, but not too much there. So let's just stop that.
Oh,
not too much there.
Not too much.
So more on the pulse sort of setting, a little blitz, to get to the texture that you want. And let's have a squeeze of that. Let's have a look at that there. You want to make sure the walnuts are broken up a little bit more. You can see the bread's still rather chunky, but I want the texture. Really important. And the bread as well, so it actually absorbs any excess moisture that comes out of that.
Okay,
so how's that looking? Is that looking good?
Yeah, it's looking good. We've got
there
texture, we've got broken walnuts.
And that's what I want to achieve. So you can see the walnuts. I want the crunch. I've got the bread, as I said, is going to absorb, and all that wonderful spice blend all coming together. But flavour. Think of big, bold flavours.
Yes.
Dolly lives out in the Karoo, right?
Yes.
And it's robust. It's big herbs, it's stones, it's rocks, it's boulders, and it's eating all those wonderful herbaceous things. So it can take flavour. So don't be scared to get some flavour in there, some vumma. So when you start looking at what we've got, bay leaves, thyme, the sumac, rosemary, garlic, it can take those big, powerful, dominant flavours. So get it in there because you want flavour. Flavour is always king when it comes to judging the final profile of your dish.
I've just realised why it is that you call the lamb Dolly. It just ping. Oh my gosh, really? It took me an age.
Good morning.
SMS the keyword roast to 33728 to receive both the recipes of our stuffing that we're making right now. So you said with the Greek style one, you're going to wait until it wilts down, and then you're going to add the cheese at the end.
So I'll do this technique now. I mean, you want to cool it down very slightly.
Okay, so it should be cooled down quite considerably for it to kind of melt away.
Remember, it's not going to. Feta doesn't melt. It's not one of those cheeses that has a good melting property at all. So it's not going to melt away and become all gooey.
Yes.
Mozzarella mozzarella-like at all. So that's quite nice. And you've got that wonderful saltiness. I mean, again, if you have lamb that, lives by the ocean, also that starts to complement it. So when you start talking about, I mean, like in the UK, you have this beautiful Dorset lamb that lives by the coast and actually tastes of what it's eating, which is grass, which is fed by the salty
by the ocean.
By the ocean. So that becomes a whole sort of discussion topic in itself. But wow, it's that simple. 2 gorgeous stuffings in 2 different textures and flavor profiles.
Smells amazing, and this, of course, another variation. And how many other? Do you have a lot of stuffing recipes in your cookbook?
So there's a couple of other stuffings that I've got coming through as well, which you can just sort of blend and tweak. But above all, yes, you can use the book, and the cookbook's great to use as a reference point. But if you haven't got it, don't worry. Yeah. Think of what the alternatives are. So you haven't got za'atar spice for it. Have you got sumac? Absolutely. Have you got a bit of time? You probably got some fresh thyme instead of dried thyme. Doesn't matter. Be confident and just go. But as long as you got the base and understand what do I want here, I want the texture, I want the bread to absorb the crumbs, I want the flavor of the spice. So add some spice in there. You could start taking things up. Maybe go smoked paprika. Yeah. Now you got a wonderful sort of smoky, earthy tone coming to that as well.
All right. So, okay. Yeah. Wow. What a masterclass indeed from Chef Chart, and it continues very shortly when then you're going to be teaching us how to string the lamb, right?
We are indeed. Absolutely.
Oh, that is something I'm certainly looking forward to. SMS roast to 33728 and we'll send you what you need in terms of the link to the recipe as well as our ingredients so that you can make these wonderful stuffings for your deboned and butterflied leg of lamb.
Beautiful. And history also says that it's one of Europe's cities with the biggest maritime influence. So you're literally sailing on the ocean, and now you're visiting Europe's most maritime city as well. It's gorgeous, and it's got such a North African influence as well, which I always find very interesting. It brings in such a different balance as the normal France culture vibe that you see. You see so much more. But at the pinnacle of this city is Notre Dame de la Garde. It's perched high up on a hill. It's a massive cathedral with a 37-foot gold statue of Madonna holding her child. And it's not Madonna, the singer, Mary of... This quarter of the
no, I love that. And like you said, this has got like a bit of grit, but it's also got the grandeur. It's the perfect balance. I mean, the landscape itself looks absolutely beautiful, but a great maritime experience to enhance your maritime kind of journey, which I think...
To start off your journey,
it adds another layer to it. You've gone on about how much you love Barcelona, so I'm expecting that that's going to be a massive tick for you. So we move on to then Barcelona and Lisbon, 2 massively popular cities that you really... on a European checklist.
Yes, now we start off on the portion that we call the Iberian Peninsula. Now that is the portion starting from the south of Spain, going through the Straits of Gibraltar, up around Portugal, and then covering Spain again at the top. First up will be the explosive city of Barcelona, and yes, it is my favorite one because it has everything. It's got your beaches, it's got your shopping, it's got your culture, it's got your food, it's got your sangria that you need to have.
It's a party.
But then from a cultural perspective, it's also the city of Antoni Gaudi, and he was that flamboyant, very expressive architect. And you can see his influence all over this city. And if there's one place you visit, it's La Sagrada Familia. And this is a cathedral that is still under construction today, even after almost a century of him having passed already. So
I was going to say, because there's just no one who stands up to Gaudi to be able to complete the work. But I think it's very rare to see that much influence spread across an entire city.
That is still alive today.
Is magical. Sounds like an absolute treat. What treats await us in Lisbon? Because you've got 2 very different cultures so close together.
Yes, now we've got Portugal, and it's not often that you get onto a cruise that actually goes via Lisbon or Lisboa, like the Portuguese would say.
As Paula would say.
Paula, so she would also say bom dia, so we can't say good day when we get to Portugal. Yes, we get into Lisbon, and because it's a once-off exclusively to Expresso viewers today, if they book today, we are including a 3.5-hour sightseeing tour in Lisbon, and you will see all the massive, important sites. We will start high up on a hill at the São Jorge Castle, where you will get your first panoramic view of the city and also the Tagus River as it literally empties into the Atlantic. We then take you down towards the river to the Tower of Belém. Now, this used to be a ceremonial gateway into the river during the 1700s when Portugal was at its height of its strength. But then after all that information and picture taking and being a tourist, you want to like just kick back and enjoy some local food and culture and music. We then go to the time out market. We've got leisure time to yourself. So literally just make sure that you don't miss anything while you're in Lisbon.
And it's worth doing one of these guided tours when you're in a city like that.
You have
There is
to.
so much ground to cover. So have someone there to help you kind of really take on those tidbits. So for months afterwards, when you're telling your anecdotal stories about your travels, you can pass it off as your own.
You can't go back there tomorrow, so you better do what you need to do when you're there.
Well, in fact, this is a repositioning trip, so the chances of you being able to do this selection, this kind of itinerary, very, very slim, and certainly not for this price. Starting from a sensational price of just 27,999 rand, including flights and taxes, you could be sightseeing some of the best ancient and modern architecture Europe has to offer. Tino is back in just a moment with more on what we can experience on our incredible trip and ship as well. So we'll see you in a moment.
Oh, it smells delicious.
Bring it in. I am so excited. Like, you are colleague gold. Because, I mean, first this morning with, what was it called?
Cronuts.
Cronuts. And
Yum.
now, thank you.
Senoras, I
Bring us
bring
some
you
lamb.
the leg of lamb that has been deboned, butterflied, stuffed,
Yes.
wrapped, strung in the oven, prepared with a side serving of some beautiful grilled potatoes and just lashings of beauty on the top just there for you guys too.
I'm
so
ready.
please
I'm
go
ready.
ahead.
Okay.
Go crazy.
First. Graham, you are
Chef.
missing out. It's okay.
I'm taking my inspiration this morning from Tino.
My
Talking
mouth
about
is watering.
the castle de le
The pesto, come
Yeah?
on.
Tell me about it. Yes?
Absolutely
Are we
divine.
approving?
100%. Did you make this?
You know, it could be said I had a helping hand. I shan't claim the result.
Okay, let me show you, ladies. When you're going to do a
wow.
little cucaracha, you're going to just... That's not good. I'm sorry, I thought it was very rude. Tino, I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know what happened to you in this, but I got to do
Have a
it.
taste. What do you think? Yeah?
I didn't expect it.
So if you've been missing our masterclass with Chef Chart, deboning, butterflying, and making the stuffing for a leg of lamb, we're going to come back after the break, and then we're going to show you how to string it properly and bake it in the
ladies,
oven. So you know what?
said taste,
I'm going to
eh?
step away from
You
the
said
scene.
taste,
Y'all just enjoy yourself. Feast. Feast, my children.
Science reaches for the truth. It works for the big and small, for the old and young. And with knowledge as our first ingredient, science is at the heart of our food. For differences you can see, feel, and trust. It all starts with science.
us on your cell phone. Culinary hotline bling. That can only
Welcome
mean
back
one
to
thing.
it. It's the culinary line. Bling, sing, sing, sing. And it's a lamb kind of thing today. That's what we've been doing with Chef Chart. We've learned in our masterclass, the 101, how to debone, how to butterfly a leg of lamb. And then we've also shared some great recipes, 2 of them, a Greek-style stuffing and one especially from Chef Chart's book, Summer Food.
To start trimming, you know, the extra bits and pieces or your skins overlapping. Remember, what does meat ultimately do in the oven? It shrinks.
Yes.
Yeah. So be very careful to start cutting things away, because when it starts to shrink, and especially the fat, the fat's going to act as it cooks. It's going to start rendering and coating your meat, and all this beautiful liquid is going to go down and hopefully get absorbed in by the fibers of the meat. So it like sort of coats it and bastes it. It's self-basted ultimately at the end of the day. So be careful not to start trimming off all these little bits of fat as you go.
Well, quickly, as you flipped it around, I saw the markings that you get at your butcher shop or wherever that happens in the production process. That's a
where Dolly,
great conversation.
Want saltiness, but because salt brings the flavour of the lamb to life.
See, this is where Salt Bay would just be like, I don't know, maybe that makes it more tender in the moment. Okay, there we go. Is that enough? Am I giving it enough salt?
That's
enough love.
Salt,
then
and
a bit
a
of
good
pepper
pinch
as well.
of black pepper from there.
Lovely stuff. Okay, that looks good.
This, for instance, where would you sort of typically actually cut?
So if you're going to be rolling it, you're cutting that way.
Okay, so you're going to be cutting that one that they're going across the grain there, because it's all running along here.
Yes, exactly.
Now, most people always take the short side and slice there. Let me tell you, having that piece versus a piece cut across there, totally different actual mouthfeel in terms of tenderness to that there. So make sure you know where the lay of the land is. So when you're actually coming to cut it, yes, you're going to be slicing it that way.
Across
so if you're going to cook it like that, cut in into thirds and cut there, and then cut on the shorter end like that. Don't be just tempted to cut on the short end because it's easy and you're a bit lazy.
Okay, good. All right.
So taking that stuff in and pop that in there. Now it gets a little bit of a messy affair. It's not the end of the world. Again, press that down a little bit there. All right,
and by doing that, you're probably also just kind of finding those cracks within the sinews that really allows the flavour and the za'atar to penetrate through there.
Right, and then I fold this over, all right?
Wow.
And then I can put a little bit more stuffing on here as well.
Okay, wow. By the way, SMS the keyword lamb to 33728. We'll send you a list of the ingredients.
Not too much here, because obviously we're going to fold that over there as well. And then you're going to take that piece there, fold that over.
Hello. Oh,
all right.
It's messy.
Right, leave that baby there. Now, string in a little jar or a little whatever.
Yeah.
You're not going to contaminate the string there, after all. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
So taking a bit of string here, and then with a knife or scissors, however you so wish.
So you're cutting more or less equal lengths of string.
Exactly 53 centimeters in length. No, I'm joking. Anyway, taking your first piece there, right? And then you're going to do a bit of a shimmy underneath there.
That was cool.
And always start from the center and then work the way out.
Okay.
Yes, you can do obviously a butcher's loop. I'm not going to show you because it's a lot more complicated. I just want to keep life simple for you at home. And then go over once, and then over again, and then down.
Okay, you went twice now.
Twice now, okay? Now, don't be tempted to put too tight, because obviously, remember, again, it's going to expand a little bit and then contract. So not too tight that you're going to push everything out. And then you can just go over and then create the loop.
Okay, all right,
Taking
that
your
was
next piece
easy
of string.
enough.
Again, going into the middle over here.
Once, twice.
Once, twice over. And
tighten
then
it.
Tighten that up.
A third round. Once.
And then once only, and then you got your little knot there.
So what is the ideal that you're looking for here?
So again, you want to try and create this uniformity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very important that we get that there, over, and again, over again like that. Okay. Then what you do with these little extra pieces is just saw them off with your knife. Obviously, a sharp knife always helps. And then if you really want, you can do one through the center here as well, just to keep everything together. Again, remember, we wanted that wonderful uniformity. Once, twice, done like that. And that just sort of brings everything together. You could put a second one if you so wanted to there. And then the moment to see how really good you are is just roll over.
Oh,
like that.
Look at that.
And look at that
That's
uniformity on there as a whole.
Sheesh.
All right, a little bit of olive oil on the top there. Just massage that. Come on, sprinkle some salt and pepper on here, please. Come on, let's go on here.
There we go. And let that happen. Just let it happen.
All right, and tuck the little bits and pieces in here.
So Dolly's going to go into the oven.
Dolly's going to go in the oven.
For how long?
At about 180 degrees. Now, you ideally want to take the weight of it there. I always say sort of about, you're looking about sort of 35, 40 minutes, depending on how your oven behaves per kilo.
Okay.
Plus 10.
Okay, per kilo plus
so
10.
if it's, say it's a 1.5 kilo kind of leg of lamb, it's going to be just under an hour plus 10 minutes just to sort of cook it off there.
And then you've got to let it rest as well, isn't it?
And then, absolutely, so important when it comes out. Because what happens, best way to describe it, if I was to seat you on a really hot pan, what's your ass going to do? Exactly, that's what Dolly's done as well. Now I take you off the pan, what's going to happen? Relax, and that's those fibers. Now, what's very important is when those fibers actually release, you get these little pockets, and that is condensation.
Yeah.
Condensation. When we slice that piece of lamb and these juices run, you go, oh, that's blood running. No, it's not. That's actually your moist, succulent bit going away. Allow that to condense so it absorbs back into the fiber so the meat stays lovely and moist, tender and succulent.
Excellent.
So now, let's just go onto a tray there. I line mine with tin foil because guess what? Safe clean the tray afterwards. Scrunch up the tin foil, chuck that out.
Much easier.
And life's that much more simpler.
Chef Chart, thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.
Incredible. Check out that book. It's called Summer Food. SMS lamb to 33728. Wonderful. Beautiful. Let's feast. I'm going to taste some of this because the team got to taste this now, I guess.
Save a little for us, gents. Thank you so much for that masterclass. Let's continue to travel now. Cherbourg is one of France's great channel ports and home to an outstanding aquarium come sea museum, something that you're not going to see anywhere else in the world. The Titanic even made its final stop here on its fateful journey. And of course, this is now one of the next stops that we have on our brilliant northern tour of Europe. We are seeing the Iberian Peninsula. That is where we've just kind of left now. Where do we go from that stage? There's one port that we're moving through, Vigo, and then
yes, you couldn't
Cherbourg.
have summed it up better. We've now left Lisbon, and as promised, we're now going to see the north coast of Spain in the port of Vigo. This is the seafood hub of the world in terms of export, and they are predominantly famous for their octopus. So I don't think that is something South Africans are very familiar with. We eat calamari, but we don't eat octopus. So I do recommend that you give it a go. And they also have the Seas Islands there, that if weather permitting, the sun is shining, it actually looks like you're in the Caribbean with the white sands and the clear waters that they have. And then after that, we will arrive in Cherbourg. And please, people mustn't worry about the Titanic. That
in retrospect, I don't know why I thought, but it's...
We'll move on from that topic. Yes, Cherbourg is amazing. It's on the northern shores of France, and you will see your climate change now as it become cooler, a little bit more gloomy. And it's also known as the shores of Normandy. The first thing we think of Normandy is World War II.
Obviously, high seas too.